Module 5. Today's lecture looks at the exciting world of the initial coin offering, or ICO. 2017 was the amazing year of the ICO. Basically, anyone with a big love for a quick buck could present a digital so-called white paper rambling about, in many cases, a completely fictitious business, and crypto investors speculators would throw money at them beyond imagination. Billions of dollars got raised to fund ICO projects, of which unfortunately an overwhelming majority turned out to be scams. And yes, there were also amazing quality projects. 2018 was the year of the bear. Many ICOs failed, but that totally depends on how you define success. If collecting $5 million and running off falls under success, it was actually quite a good year. But overall, 2018 made ICOs notorious for their scammy character. Dumping time. Gee, by ICO. Well, 2018 was actually not a bad year for ICOs, with the top two projects raising just under $6 billion all by themselves. Following this frenzy, Nolan Buterin himself called for an improvement on the ICO concept. 2019, a fresh year. Finally some sense in the crypto markets. Companies such as NewFund, Desico.io, Polymath, Swarm, and a couple more are making history in tokenizing securities as we know them. Platforms really try to align with more traditional regulation. For instance, typical IPO documents such as a prospectus are required. We are talking about actual stocks on the blockchain, including ownership, voting rights, dividends, but also art, real estate, and a lot more. Do you think you've seen everything? I say we're just getting started. In the meanwhile, don't forget to broaden your vocabulary by reading up on initial fork offerings, IAOs, VICOs, and fundraising mechanisms that don't even exist, or just came tumbling down from some visionary's mind. So what's wrong with ICOs? Initial coin offerings have earned themselves a notorious place in history as one of the first ways to really get funding into the crypto industry. The core of an ICO is quite straightforward. A team of blockchain avid fans presents a promising project and collects contributions in a crypto form to obtain the required funding to further build out the project. A new token gets minted. People line up to buy it in grand expectation of superior returns. Most importantly, the effective counterparty for investors is the developing team itself. So, what can go wrong? Well, first of all, most people lack the background to be capable of thoroughly assessing the intrinsic worth of a project. So how can they even decide to invest in a project then if they don't even have a way of properly valuing it? It's like saying that you believe in the business model of Coca-Cola and so you're willing to offer $20 for a single can of Coke. Simply put, a lot of ICO projects were invested in at staggeringly high valuations. To make matters worse, there is another big loophole staring us right in the face. At the end of the ICO fundraising, all funds collected are immediately released to the project team in one blow. Even if the project team is truly dedicated to their cause, receiving such a high portion of the reward so early can be dauntingly demotivating or at least distracting. Furthermore, as generally there isn't a prerequisite of installing a decent governance on top of the project, investors are left stressing out about their money, constantly searching for any news. And we're not there yet, as then there are gas wars. These typically occur when investors can contribute to ICOs by directly sending money from their own hot wallets, for example a mobile or desktop wallet, actually the most common way to contribute. When doing so, they have to define a gas limit, meaning the amount of transaction fees they are willing to maximally pay to get earlier in the queue of the transaction validation mechanism. When some investors are putting these limits very high, so-called gas wars can occur, pushing other investors further down in the queue. Over time and as a consequence of it all, the teams that initially very happily received their big chunk of investments, now start wiping off that smile from their faces as legal and regulatory bodies are starting to look into the actual legitimacy of these fundraisings. In the US, the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, is actually diving into filing cases against previously concluded ICOs. Finally, the projects that are legitimate actually fail to get the right amount of funding, simply because of the scam association with the word ICO. So, I have this initial coin offering I would like to present to you as a potential investment opportunity. I wrote the white paper a few weeks ago, in fact. I really believe this cryptocurrency could be the next big thing. What do you think? Can I count on you for an investment? It's not all bleak though. ICOs are simply one of the first versions to raise decent amounts of money by and for blockchain-based endeavors. If the objective is to raise a lot of money rather quickly and in a liquid manner, ICOs do the trick. There weren't extensive disclosure requirements. And well, if you as an investor participated in the ICO frenzy somewhere in mid-2017, it didn't even matter that much whether projects were great. Speculation made many rich. Today though, and with the hindsight, we have accumulated, some improvements are worth exploring, wouldn't you agree?